Hi, everybody. This is Milani Douglas. Welcome to another episode of Curative Collective. Today we have STRÖB Apothecary. So before I introduce STRÖB Apothecary, I want to tell you just a little bit about what Curative Collective is. It's when we're working with community organizations and businesses that are working at the intersection of art, healing, food, and justice. So we are excited. We've got a packed house today. They did not come to play. They want you to know what they do and how they're here to serve you. And we're always excited about that. Just a reminder, this is a part of Reclamation, our series around food, healing, remedies, recipes, and rituals. And we're asking you to submit recipes and food memories, and we'll make sure we bring that link up later. But for now, talking about STRÖB Apothecary, Kat, because people may remember Kat from Black Magic Sisters, and then also from the many things that Kat does. If you could be our connection and our bridge into STRÖB, I would greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And so tell us what you all do, and everybody come on and let's talk about it.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you to the museum for having us. We're really excited to be here. I'm Rissa Day, and I'm one of the 5 co-founders of STRÖB. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on the order of STRÖB because STRÖB's name comes from our initials. So we're going to start with Sean. Tell us about yourself.
My name's Sean. I'm the Essence STRÖB. I am a relatively new, I guess, on the scene herbalist. I've really just heavily started my studies in the last 2 years. So my function in this business is mostly as an herbalist, and I help make some of the handmade products, and a few of the tea blends are my own formulations. That's me.
And so now we're going to move to Tiffany. So
I'm loving the format.
Uh-oh, the tea is breaking up. Tiffany,
the tea is glitching, child. Okay. Try it again, Tiffany. There you go.
Are we back?
Yep.
Reload. We're back. Cool. Yes. I'm Tiffany Powell. I'm the tea in STRÖB. I'm a student herbalist, student chemist, student everything. And what I bring to the table here at STRÖB is slowly more and more a lot of information from my studies, but I also do a lot of our art and photography on the website.
Okay. So I'm the R, Rissa. I'm the resident witch ritualist. Sounds so creepy. And I do a lot of the ritual creation that we have as part of our overall message and what we're trying to push. I'm also a reader, so I offer readings, and I also work with herbs intuitively. I'm a root woman, and I've been one for about 15 years now. Next, we have Olivia.
Hey, how did she know where to point so perfectly? So I'm Olivia. I have been a aromatherapist for a decade and into crystals, and I guess a kitchen herbalist for about 6. And I guess my big thing is being able to blend all that together, and I love seeing how people get to experience all of those healing modalities blended into one synergistic experience, and how delightful that is. So,
all right, and then finally, I got it.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Bonnie Carey. So I do a little bit of everything here. I'm an artist. I am a student herbalist. I've done some of the tea blends here. I also work with crystals, so I've helped formulate crystal elixirs, and I love just blending it all together.
So that's us.
I love this. What is so exciting is I love seeing collaborations and collectives when people are bringing all of these amazing tools together to make a phenomenal team to do something. So we know who the phenomenal people are. What are the phenomenal things that you all are up to? What are you doing?
All right, y'all.
Sean, he dropped straight into like, funny you should mention that. So tell us, Sean, what are you all up to?
We have been very, very busy. The last like 3 weeks kind of wiped us out a little bit. We were doing pop-ups, talking to a lot of people, trying to get our name out there. Beyond that, I think really what we are trying to serve to the community is a fusion of ritual and herbalism. And crystal healing and stuff like that as well. So, we are a brand new business. We only opened in October this year. So, in the middle of the pandemic and everything, with all of life going on, we have decided to open this business, and it's just been, I don't know if this answers your question, but as far as like working with the team is concerned, I think the last 2 months really has been an exercise in learning to work with everyone's energy. Where is this person going to be the happiest? Where is this person going to be giving their best work? So each of us tries to really work with each other. And as we are in the beginning phases of our business, I think that that's kind of what the theme has been for this year so far. Figuring out who's doing what, when, who is happiest doing what, when, and really trying to work with each of our individual energy levels.
I love that. I love how this moment is pushing us to expand how we come together and how we move forward together. And that seems like a fine example of it. So one, you guys are a model of, coming together in the time of crisis, and then also the healing nature of a team, because, getting away from this idea that we have to all do just everything and be that one person that does it, right? And then you all are also working with different modalities. Like, so Olivia, I see behind you, I just can't stop staring. So I'm just gonna go there. And so tell us, what are you working with back there?
It's the cutest corner in my house. So that's where we set the computer up. This is just one corner of my crystal collection, of which I might have a little bit of an addiction.
Just a little.
Mini museum.
Right. So this reminds me of the cabinet of curiosities. Like the beginning of museums is when people would collect things that were interesting to them and curate, care for the things that were interesting. So tell us, can you grab one and just bring it to the forefront? Tell us something about it.
Well, actually, I'll grab two.
Okay.
They're kind of the same crystal, but not. The one I've been holding this whole time, because talking in front of people makes me a little nervous sometimes. And this is a really calming crystal. It's an apophyllite.
That's
and
wonderful.
This is a clear apophyllite. It has some prismatic. It's a really beautiful specimen with some prismatic bits in the points. And this one's great for communication, and it's a zeolite, so it's detoxifying, but it also, for me, is like my favorite stone. It's very, very calming. And that one was a gift from my husband. And then this, which might be a nice little segue, is another apophyllite, and it's a very special apophyllite. It is a green apophyllite, which is amazing for nature communication and getting in touch with the rhythm and flow of nature. But I got this one as a gift from sort of a little bit of a foundation of STRÖB. The natural root woman who kind of drew us all together. Steph Abramson. So, Rissy.
Okay. Back to me.
That's awesome.
We gotta mention Steph.
Yeah. So Stephanie Abramson, whew, she was this very small, petite woman who encased so much magic and knowledge that she was really kind of like our resident godmother. We all worked at an herb shop together. That's how we all met. And I think out of all of us, I'd worked with her the longest because I'd been there for quite some time. And we were old timers in the shop, and we used to work Sundays all the time. And Stephanie read medical journals, and she told you, this planet's conjunct with this planet. And Sweet Annie was like her favorite herb, and she would make these wreaths for us. And so one of the things we wanted to do to honor her was to encase her essence into what STRÖB is all about. So while STRÖB is a combination of all of our names, the plant that you see in the background of the logo is Sweet Annie in honor of Stephanie Abramson. So even in the way that we decided to approach this, we brought an ancestor with us.
I love that. That's one of the reasons also that I feel like that what you all are doing is so aligned to what we're also doing. That looking at the continuum of how information is continuous and honoring it, and making sure that we bring forth what has brought us here. And that's just beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about Sweet Annie's lace and why? I'd love to hear why was her favorite herb.
I can talk a little bit about it.
Go ahead, Sean.
I know all the medicinals.
So this is Sweet Annie. It's kind of an older one right here, but we keep it in a little vase on our altar here at the studio. And Sweet Annie is it's a type of wormwood, so like a sweet wormwood. So a lot of these wormwoods are used for parasites and stuff like that. I actually tinctured Sweet Annie this year, meaning I extracted in alcohol. So that's the main way that we all have been taking it. It's you have to be kind of careful talking about these herbs. It can be very useful in times like these when there are kind of pretty severe infections going around. It has traditionally been used as an anti-malarial. So back in older times, I guess that's the main thing that it was used for. I personally fell in love with it because of its scent. It's very, very rich in volatile oils. It just smells, do you have any idea? I always describe it sort of as like a almost cinnamony kind of smell. I don't know. It's got a very peculiar just scent profile.
It's fresh and aromatic and slightly herby, but almost like a little back end of licorice somehow blended in there.
Licorice is what came to mind for me.
There's definitely a sweetness to it, leading to its name. And I mean, it grows huge and tall and it's abundant. When you can find it, you'll usually find it in huge patches. It's just truly one of my favorite herbs, and I think it was one of Stephanie's favorite herbs as well. And it feels like what the world needs right now, I guess.
Yeah, she used to make wreaths out of it as a way to protect us when we were working. So she would, we had this ritual of opening the store where we set an intention for how much we wanted to make that day, and then we would, clear out with some smoke. And then she would go into the garden and pull and make a wreath. And she would make this tea. Like I called it Stephanie's bush tea. And Sweet Annie would be in it. And you felt protected and relaxed throughout the entire shift. And it was it's something that we all associate with her. So I have found in a lot of times throughout this pandemic, I have one of the wreaths that she made in my house in my personal apothecary, and I just go and I'll hold the wreath and I'll smell it and I'll think of her, and it's just really calming.
And
so this is Sweet Annie.
And as the audience listens to this, I think it's so important to note how you all develop your relationship with the herb, with different herbs, right? With Sweet Annie's lace or any other herb. It's something that's done in community. It's something that's done with other people and some people bringing expertise to it. So as you listen to it, get excited about what it does, but also get excited about the process, right? That this was someone who knew a lot about it, that introduced it to them, that walked them through certain ways of using it over time. Because we don't want to just run out and start grabbing sweet Annie and boiling it up and drinking it. First of all, from what I know about wormwood, it might be a little bitter, but it you know, so how to continue to do that in community. So we're looking at what you do and also how you do it. Can you all tell us, do you all, first of all, I think Sean and Bonnie, do you all have a demonstration for us or what you're going to walk us through?
Yeah. You want to walk us through some of it? And
all right.
Talk about the ingredients.
So we are calling this kitchen tea, and we've thought through what people may have in their kitchen. So I'm going to show some things, and then Sean's going to talk about the properties. The first ingredient in our tea is thyme. So Sean, what are some things about thyme?
So thyme I really like at this time of year, just because it's so good with like handling respiratory infections, or just any sort of, it's a very drying medicine. So what that means is like when there is respiratory problems involving a lot of mucus, it can kind of help dry that out or help you kind of cough that up. So it's one of my favorite herbs just for this time of year. It's also delicious. I'm kind of a fan of savory teas. I like my tea to taste like a soup water or something, soup broth. So a teaspoon of that goes into our mix here. What's next?
And next up we have some rosemary.
And rosemary has traditionally been used to support memory and cognition. So, I mean, even its essential oil, like just breathing it, can be very effective. By the way, we're making a tea today, but you can also use all of these ingredients in a steam. So if you just like heat it on the stove and breathe the steam in, it can really help like dislodge things from your lungs.
All right, and next up we do have this, let's see, oregano.
Oregano is another one that's very famous for its essential oil. I'm sure that many people have tried oregano oil when they're sick. It's for good reason. It also helps, just like thyme, actually, it's very involved with like drying up mucus and helping kind of expectorate that sort of stuff. Teaspoon of that.
All right, and next thing we have are cinnamon chips.
Cinnamon chips are one of my favorites just for flavor. It just goes so well, especially with savory herbs, because it's a little bit of a sweeter herb and it kind of counteracts the taste. Something that we didn't really talk about very much so far is that a lot of herbalism is, or even crystal healing and stuff like that, is about engaging the senses. So when we are designing our teas here, we always take taste into account because it should, you know, if you're taking your medicine, it should also taste good, I think. So we'll do a teaspoon of that as well.
And we're using cinnamon chips, but if you don't have those, you can use a cinnamon stick. Just knock it with the end of a spoon or something and break it up a little bit.
And the cinnamon sticks are also great for garnish at the end.
Right. And then last we have a little bit of an orange.
An orange. So a lot of people have oranges, you know, hanging around, especially this time of year. It is citrus season, where it's going to be very soon. So we're just going to squeeze a little bit of this into our tea. So the recipe, just so you know, was 1 part each cinnamon sticks, or sorry, not cinnamon sticks, cinnamon chips, oregano, thyme, and rosemary. I did 1 teaspoon of each, and I'm squeezing in half of an orange. And I'm just gonna put that directly into the steeper here. And hot water. It's really easy. These are all ingredients that most people will have in their pantry. So if you're feeling sick and you're feeling kind of some respiratory thing going on, just raid your spice cabinet. It's really what it's about. So we have our cinnamon toning the mucous membranes. which are present throughout your body. We have the orange with the vitamin C in it. We have all these lovely drying herbs that will help dry mucus. And it's a kitchen tea. Pretty much anyone can make this. So we really want to talk about the fact that herbs are food at the end of the day, and that using them as a food or seeing your food as medicinal in the first place is just a beautiful place to build a foundation from. And while the next person's talking, Bonnie and I are going to sip our beautiful garnished teacups. We did garnish.
You are so fancy.
I know.
I love
Like I
it.
said, it's about engaging those senses.
I love it.
So 1 cinnamon stick and orange slice for garnish. And, it's just really tasty. By the way, when you make this tea, steep it covered about 10 minutes.
Take a picture.
Even the sense of
Yes, even the sense of sight. I agree.
Yes.
That is so
And
good.
the other piece to this is that I love what Natalie just said, that it's not intimidating. That's the whole point. So one of the big elements of what we wanted to do was we wanted to give people the understanding that they need so that they can empower themselves in how they engage plant medicine. And so when we sat around thinking about what we could demonstrate, everybody just threw in their favorite herbs, and before you knew it, we had this kitchen tea. So from a spiritual ritual perspective, cinnamon is very good at attracting prosperity and abundance. Oregano, thyme are really, and rosemary are also really good for protection. So if you're dealing with crazy energy, you're, in a Zoom meeting and your boss is like acting up, this tea would be great for your chest, but it could also be great for your aura. So just, even thinking through that, I mean, for me, the herbs are about the spiritual implications as well.
And also, if you are that boss or somebody acting up, please get yourself a cup of tea as well.
We have a tea for that.
Everybody.
You have a tea for that, I promise.
There's a tea for that. There's definitely a tea for that. What I love most is just that these are herbs that people commonly work with. We're in a time period. It's this beautiful, chaotic time where there's so much information and it's so easy to get the information, to the point that it's not easy to get through the information and get to something that you can actually use. So starting where you are, like he said, if you got thyme, you got oregano, you got some cinnamon sticks or chips or something with a cinnamon base. I'm sure you could probably even do a powder if you don't, and you got an orange slice, and bring it together and make a tea and see what's already healing you and amplify what's in your cabinets. So I love that recipe. Can you hold that cup up again? Just the orange and the cinnamon stick kind of did it for me. I like that. Yes. And see how pretty it is and the excitement. You say what, Tiffany?
Tiffany, say it
It's
again?
all about being creative too. We're all, it's all about being creative. We all have herbalists in us. We all have artists in us. If you don't have an orange, you might have lemon. If you don't have a cinnamon stick, you might have some cinnamon powder. Get creative with it. What you have in your cabinet, you can create something beautiful.
By the way, I just tasted it and it's real good.
It looks real good.
It's really good.
And we will share the recipe with you all so you can post it, because folks are asking.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also, I hope that you all submit that to the recipe portal, and we'll be able to use it, and people that are watching to come back and be able to look at this again and again. It's going to be on Facebook, so we'll be able to find it. And there's one question that I had. Oh, so is there anything else that you guys are doing? I know someone mentioned aromatherapy. You guys are like a healing wheelhouse. Like, it's all there. So
We're an apothecary.
We're a apothecary, right?
And we're a business. So I'm going to need everybody who's watching this video. See, I'm the pitch woman. I need everybody to go to www.strobeapothecary.com. We're actually doing a crowdfunding initiative right now. Olivia, do you want to talk about the crowd initiative?
Yeah,
Crowdfunding?
absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we we started our business, we formulated our teas, we formulated our crystal elixirs, we formulated our essential oil aromatherapy blends, and we put together a really good basic start line of what pretty much everybody can use. And what we found were so many people asking us, that looks so awesome. Can you also make me this? Can you make me this? But what about my high blood pressure? But what about this? What about keeping my sugar in check? What about this? All of these different things that we know how to help, but we need the herbs. So we decided that we wanted to push our apothecary stages up just a little bit further, a little faster, so we can help people that are asking us to help them a little bit faster as well. So we started a crowdfunding campaign. We're trying to bring in with micro donations enough to get 45 to 50 herbs, all of the containers that we want for them, a special powdering machine as well, so that we can powder down blends. Some people cannot or just won't take herbs in certain ways. Sometimes you need to put them in pills. They're not going to do tea, or put it in a powder so that you can add it into a smoothie or use it that way. And we want to be able, we need to be able to do that. So that's what we're working on. We want to be able to get everyone who needs our help the exact right blend of herbs for them.
That's wonderful. As a part of the project that we're doing with Reclamation, we want to find as many ways as possible for us to be supportive to the communities and also to businesses, musicians. We have our series called The Tea, which you guys probably have lots of. But so if you're in our audience and this is another way to be of support these businesses and support some of these ideas. Make sure to reach out to, call them and look at, they have their IG pages, beautiful already. And also on their website, and see that if you would like to have someone as a guide or a companion on your journey to health and healing, please do that. And if you find some recipes on the way, share them inside of our portal, because we want to make sure that we are having people come together in this space, and also use the portal. Use it once we open up on January 18th, and we have our public submissions. Yes, what you submit will be a part of the art exhibition. We all are artists and creators in our own way, and this is a perfect example of that. So what we can also look at the tea that they created as an art for you to say, well, what is it that I have to get me to something that I need? Is an art form in itself. So we're doing this non-traditional project that celebrates those processes. Is there any, can someone speak just about, we talked about the aromatic nature of the tea and the aromatic nature of the sweet anise lace, but how does aromatherapy, how is that a part of this practice in your business as well?
As a clinical aromatherapist on team, so aromatics are very important, and I love herbs for that aspect, because it's not just being able to smell that aromatherapy in your tea. You can then also very safely and easily ingest it, and you can't really do that with essential oils. So you kind of get aromatherapy and herbs when you're dealing with herbs. It's a twofer. I love it. But aromatics are very and powerful and important. They're concentrated phytochemicals, volatile aromatic compounds, and they work within seconds by smelling them. So you're getting an almost immediate beneficial effect, which is, while you are getting a twofer with herbs, aromatherapy is kind of on par there. Instant effect. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. I'm not a patient woman. Aromatherapy, it's been part of my life my entire life. I actually pulled a letter out of my mom's filing cabinet when I was helping her, and she wrote a letter to herself, I guess when I was about 4 years old, And in it, she actually wrote about how I have an incredible memory, but more than that, it's the memory of smell. So since I was at least 4 years old, I've been talking about the memory of smells. So I guess aromatherapy has become part of my own personal ritual, aromatherapy and crystals.
I want to thank you for sharing that, because sometimes we only think about where we are and not all the things that it took to get us there. And it's important for us to tell the whole story, right? To say, you know, that this is something that my mom noticed when I was 4, and to not just take that for granted, because these become like guides along the way in our life. And that's just as important part of the recipes, the remedies and rituals that we're talking about. And that's why it's important to say that, you know, when you're sharing a recipe or a story, or you're sharing a remedy, there's always a story with it. So we want to make sure that we, you know, include that story as well. We are slowly coming to what, you know, we have flexible ending, but we're getting to that mark where we're typically winding up. So I want to make sure that before we go, that people definitely know how to be in touch with you all. And also, if you could say a little bit about the process of kind of like intake, what are the ways that people can enter, you know, a working or collaborative relationship with you all as clients?
Message us on Instagram, for one. That's probably the fastest way to get to us. And down below, you can see both our website, STRÖB, STROB, STRÖBapothecary.com, and also at We Are STRÖB on Instagram. Same handle and link for the Facebook as well. So message us on any of the platforms. There's contact us on the website as well. If you guys have any questions, we are multidisciplinary here. So we're more than happy to help you on any of the realms that we can. We've touched a little bit of just about everything on how we really look at all of these herbs and how we look at therapeutics as well. So we look at things on all senses, right? Like we were talking about. So we're thinking about mental, we're thinking about the constituents within these plants, we're thinking about the aromatherapy, the healing values, everything in between. So please reach out to us. It's crystals, aromatherapy, everything in between. So Instagram, Facebook, website, whatever it may be, just don't be shy.
And someone had a question about the meaning of STRÖB. STRÖB is actually our initials, first letter in each of our names. So it's Sean, Tiffany, me, Rissicat, Olivia, and Bonnie. We just added the 2 dots to be fancy.
And it looks good. Yeah.
It's dope, right?
It you know, it opens the aesthetics and the eyes. I like it. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Actually, we heard our logo.
We really owe Kat for our name, because it just popped out of her head and we were like, that's it right there.
So real talk, I'm going to be really honest with you. When we were coming up with the name, I remembered that NSYNC's name, the group name, comes from the letters of the group. So I was like, you know what, we can do it. Why can't STRÖB?
Listen, we're yelling everywhere. I love it.
I finally got that off my chest. You all know now. It wasn't good.
I love it. That's such a good story. Well, I hope that you all will. I know that people will definitely look into STRÖB. I'm looking forward to you all. I'll make sure that you guys have the links, and that if you are looking for when our portal opens up, there'll be at least this recipe that we just offered with the kitchen tea inside of the portal, and maybe there can be a few other recipes. Olivia, feel comfortable to give us an aromatherapy blend as a part of it with your story. So.
I've got 5 of them for you.
Listen, pack this portal with some health and some healing.
I came up with 5 recipes, one for each of us.
There you go.
We just did it. I love it. Yeah. So please make sure that you submit to that, and then also use it. And Reclamation, the programming is going to be happening through December 31st of 2021. I'm sure that you will see members of STRÖB again. We'll find other ways to engage our partners. So this Curative Collective is just the beginning. And I just want to thank you all so much. I hope that it's been as fun for you as it was for me. And I hope that our audience members find some benefit. And always remember that we are an art museum and an art institution. And so our Women Art and Social Change program is supported by our generous donors, and it allows us to really expand art into social change, into social action. And this is how our community partners help us do that. So thank you for being a part of the broadcast, and we will see you next Monday at noon for another episode of Curative Collective. And thank you guys. Thank you, STRÖB.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like we just keep waving into the
I know,
light.
it's like, this is the way now. This is real life. I can't stand it. It's terrible.